a swivel. That's just how this shit goes. I can't get caught in the middle. I stick to the truth and the code.
Long story short, I got hold of my homie's like Rock Band mic from the game Rock Band, which is obviously shitty. And I started just recording just on my like mom's computer that was in my house, which is just a complete piece of shit. Like
The
no
Rock
mix.
Band mic.
Yeah, bro. No mix, no nothing. Like I was just pulling up beats, rapping all the way through the song, and just like putting that out on Facebook, and people were just like, "Yeah, this is dope." This shit was not dope, bro. I'm here to tell you, it was atrocious. It was
that,
horrible.
but it's like a lot of risk. So, kind of, where did you see yourself? Maybe was it different? Is it similar to where it is now? That type of thing.
I mean, I think just like anyone else, I was very naive to like how the music industry works and how to like monetize what you're doing. I mean, because this is also pre-internet, also. So in my head, I'm like, I just gotta keep making songs, and like eventually somebody's just gonna sign me, and I'm gonna be a millionaire, and I'm gonna be famous like immediately, you know. And that's just how I thought it worked, because that's how the public sees a lot of things. You know, they're like, "Oh, this dude came out of nowhere. Like, he's on radio now, and he's famous. We should buy his merch and go to a show." And great,
Yeah.
you know, he just fucking figured it out. But it's like you don't see or even think about as a regular consumer what went into that, and like how he got to that point, or like what he knows on how to get himself into that position of leverage or whatever, you know. And like I said, this is pre-internet, so I was like, I was happy just printing mixtapes that I made in my house and just selling them at school, because I would come home with like a couple $100 every week, and I was just like, I'm lit, bro. Like, what else do I need to do? You know what I mean? But it's like, obviously, that's not sustainable forever. You know, it's like that's kind of just how I thought it was, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna keep selling these CDs for $5, whatever it is, and like one day, like, you know, Dr. Dre is gonna hear it, and I'm fucking out of here. Like, I'm moving out, and it's, you know, I'm a star now. You know, that's just like that's how everyone thought, I think, you know. Mm-hmm. But it's obviously way different. You know, like, I'm not signed to a label. I understand how to monetize things on the internet, how to translate that into merch sales, ticket sales, like the value of collaborating with different artists, creating a brand that people are going to be interested in and want to buy into. It's like there's so many things that you can do by yourself that are substantial if you do it right and you like think about it strategically, where it's like you don't necessarily need that. I mean, sometimes obviously a label can still be helpful. That's nothing I'm ruling out, obviously. Like, you know, if it makes sense, it makes sense. But yeah, man, it's just years. And, you know, you ever heard like the 10,000 hours thing? It's like, I feel like I'm well beyond that. And I kind of just know what works for me, what doesn't, and like where I fit in to things. And like, I'm comfortable with who I am and the music I make. So now it's just about scaling that slowly but surely, you know, and just keep making it that I love. You know, it's not really about, oh, I need to get famous tomorrow. You know, it's just like, I make a living. This is great. I do what I love. I have great friends, you know, that do the same thing. It's awesome. It's funny to think about when I was 19, 20. You know, I'm 27 now, and just like think about like the way I thought about it. It was just so dumb, but it takes that to learn it, I guess. Unless you have someone teaching you, which I didn't. I was from the middle of nowhere in Massachusetts. There's no music industry, you know. So
so you talked about like the record label and the music industry. So I'm kind of curious, as like a perspective, someone that actually makes music and is an artist within it. Kind of like, because I know there's some, I've just like seen through social media and different talks and videos, and just like the kind of heat with like the music industry or record labels. I'm curious on like what your just kind of perspective is on like pros, cons. I know there's a lot of negativity towards some of it. I haven't really seen much of the positive side, and that's really only on social media, but I'm just curious kind of your perspective on that.
Obviously, I've never been signed to a label before, so I can't speak to it all the way, but I have a handful of friends who either were or are signed to majors, and there's definitely a lot of good that can come out of it. It's just about, because it's like every deal is different. It's not about it's not as black and white as it once was, where it's like you're signed to a label. This happens. This happens. This is what it means for you. This is how much money you make. It's very gray, and I feel like if you build yourself into a position of leverage, where you're bringing value to that company who has a lot of resources and capital that they could potentially invest in what you're doing, it can be a win-win, you know. But I also think that happens a lot less than, you know, the other way where a company is taking full advantage of an artist because they don't know what the hell they have or what they could be doing or what they should be doing. They just don't understand the basics, basically. And that's how people kind of fall into like signing a long-term deal where now you owe a company, that being the record label, a ton of music, or you have to make X amount of money before you get paid because they gave you an advance. You know, at this point, you can kind of deliver almost everything that a record label can give you by yourself, but it's going to take longer, and you're going to have to be great at building relationships in order to like receive those things. Like it's hard to have major collaborations without a record label where they could just make a phone call for you and go, yeah, there's the guy, here's what it costs, we'll pay for it, we own this part of it, and now here we go, we're off to the races, you know. But if you want to do that by yourself, you can do it, but you have to find a way to call this person, that person. You have to fund it, you know, because everything is going to cost money. That is, you know, it's just you get what you put in, basically. So if you find a way to be able to do that yourself, great, you know. But a lot of artists aren't business minded or have someone around them that like understands the industry. So they hear, yo, we can make this, we can do this, this, and that. Great. I don't give a fuck what happens. Like, just make it happen. I just want to make my songs and get on with my life, you know? But then on the other side of that, that's where they become disappointed because they're not taking control of, you know, the outcome, basically. It takes a long time.
That's interesting, yeah. For sure. I mean, there's one more question about kind of that journey and stuff, and then we can get just more like the new stuff that you got going on. So you've bounced around with multiple different genres throughout the time, whether it's pop, rap, hip hop, R&B, that type of stuff. So I'm curious, like, do you have a favorite type? Do you just kind of make a song whatever you're feeling, what you're vibing with during the time, or what's kind of your evolution as an artist throughout those different times?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I started out as only rapping because in my head, I thought that was the only thing that I was capable of doing, because it didn't take like a certain level of like musical talent to be able to rhyme words. Like you could kind of teach yourself to be like, I can rap fast now. I can listen to this and study that. But if you can't sing, you can't sing, and that's just that, right? That's kind of how I thought about it. So I only made rap music for so long, but I've always been super drawn to R&B and pop, like from a taste perspective as a consumer. So I think eventually around like 2013, 2014, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to try. It's not going to be great. And it wasn't. You know, I wasn't not a good singer when I first started trying to sing. And I don't know, I think I just kind of trained those muscles and just taught myself, you know, by ear and just practicing and listening to things and studying the technicalities of some of my favorite artists that are, you know, in that realm, and eventually just started clicking. And now it's like I kind of feel like I can do whatever. Like I'm kind of limitless from a creative standpoint, where vocally I'm very confident, and also I'm very confident in my writing ability because I started out as just a rapper, so there was like a lot of multi-syllable timing where maybe I don't apply that all the time depending on the song. And now within the past year, I've been learning way more about how to write pop songs, like structurally and like texturally. There's a lot that goes into that people don't understand, and I did not understand until even a few months ago. Like I'm still in the process of learning that, so like I'm excited to put that stuff out. Even it'll probably be next year, honestly, but just like the different styles of songwriting and learning it. It's been a process, like each one within himself. But like I said, I've been doing this for so long. It's kind of it all comes pretty naturally to me at this point. But yeah, my favorite is always going to be the R&B stuff, and I think that unfortunately has the shortest like shelf life and reach sometimes, just because the world as a whole doesn't appreciate R&B at like the way I do or like some of my friends do. But I'm still gonna make it always because I love it. Um, the rap stuff I just started getting back into recently because last year I did the Rap Dylan project. I don't know how familiar you are with my whole catalog or whatever, but I did that basically because I got a lot of new fans through collaborating with a ton of artists that happen to be rappers. And I think I've kind of got a new level of like listenership after I stopped rapping and just made like the R&B and pop stuff. So I think like when those people discover me, they didn't really know that I was a rapper or could rap. Like I'm always like the guy on the hook, right? For like all those collaborations.
Yeah.
And I just kind of wanted to prove like, yo, yeah, I can do those and those are fun, cool. But like I rap better than everybody or just as well. You know what I'm saying? Like don't get it fucked up basically. Like the first project was kind of me like proving to all those new people like don't sleep on that side of me as well. Like I can do that if I want. But I didn't really think about that as a project. Like I made that whole project in like a week, and I was just like, I'm just gonna put this out to see what happens. You know, like whatever. Because I was always focusing on what my next album was gonna be, and it was always like centered around R&B, soul music. You know, like Vanilla, Morning Coffee. That's kind of where I was at, and I was like, I'm gonna make the next one. But then I made this rap shit just because it was fun, and I was just talking a lot of shit. Honestly, it was fun. And then people ended up liking it a lot. So I was like, damn, maybe I should not like block that off and be like not afraid of it. But I was always just like, yeah, I don't want to be a rapper. Like I'm like more talented than a rapper. Like that's kind of how I thought about it, which was like so fucking dumb. Because if you make good songs, you make good songs, whether they're rap or not, right? So yeah, I was just like, I'm gonna make that into a series and just do that like, you know, once a year and just kind of make it almost like an alter ego in a way, you know?
Yeah, no, I think that's cool to kind of have those different types of songs, different types of music that you can create, especially now that you kind of still love doing them all. You can kind of dabble with each one, and oh, you want to do this, okay, you want to do this, and now you kind of have built up that kind of, I don't say credibility, but like, yo, I can rap, I can do this, I can do this, and that's just kind of whatever you're feeling. So it's cool. So what's kind of your vision for Rap Dylan too? I know you kind of started it, and then the whole just kind of with the protests and everything that was going on, you kind of felt like Utopia, the newest song, was more right for the time. So kind of just the thought process on that.
So yeah, Rap Dylan 2 has been done for a while. I started it like top of the year. So it's been done for a minute, 7 songs total. First 2 singles are out, obviously, which I love those. And yeah, man, I mean, in light of everything that's going on, the protesting and social injustice and whatnot, the third single was literally just me talking shit and being super braggadocious, and it was just like a fun song, which felt very out of pocket, which is ironic because the song is called Out of Pocket. So I was just like, this is not what I need to say right now. And you know, Utopia kind of just happened where I felt very off for 3-4 days just with everything going on, and just kind of further educating myself on, you know, the social injustice with police and all this, right? And I couldn't write anything. It was hard for me to focus on anything where it was just like, I don't know, like just none of this seems like I should be thinking about it because it's very selfish and it's like the world is fucked up, right?
Yeah.
So that song honestly kind of just poured out of me when I was sitting right here at my desk right in front of me. And I just made it in like an hour, and it was initially the production that you hear on it now was something that my keyboardist that I bring on tour, Sham, he plays all over my music. So I have a ton of like random loops from him like on my computer that I will eventually like turn into a different song or add drums to or whatever with Cryo or whatever producer I'm working with. I have a ton of like kind of samples type of thing. and I just heard it, and I've had that since November, since we were on tour, and it was on my computer. Haven't heard it since then, and that song just happened, and I was like, I'm not even gonna touch it. It's just these keys are beautiful. It made me say what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Let me just put this out and kind of say my piece, and also kind of do my part and give back to something that makes sense. So I had a ton of conversations with friends of mine and just kind of thought about it. And I was like, yeah, I think this is just the right move to kind of put the rap stuff on hold and make this less about me. Because it's not about me or any of us individually. It's about humanity, as a whole. And like, things need to be said. People need to educate themselves at the very least,
For sure, man.
That was kind of my piece. And, not that that's over or like change has already happened or whatever, like still very much reading into that and having those conversations.
So I kind of have a question about the song Crucial. Did you say, so you said you wrote that kind of a while back?
Yeah, so that was like one of the first ones I made for Rap Dylan. I want to say it was probably in January, so not like super far back.
Yeah. The reason I asked is because I was just kind of curious. And it could have no relation at all, but I don't know. It could be just my perspective or opinion on it. I don't mean to offend in any way, but it kind of just like the beat of it and the whole vibe of it just kind of reminded me of like one of those like sounds like on TikTok or something like that people would dance to. Did you have any mind within making that, whether it's the music, the beat, the lyrics, anything like that? Have anything in mind with that, of that kind of song? Maybe go viral, because I know some people started using that sound, and then you're like, yo, shoot, this is dope. So then you did a little contest and everything, and that took off and had like, I think it was like 600. I looked at it the other day, it was like 600 something videos. So did you kind of have an idea, like, okay, maybe this is an option, or it kind of just happened? You're like, yo, this is dope. Let's try to take it to the next level.
So my homie Rain, who produced 3 out of the 7 on the Rap Dylan project, he's the one who produced that one. And this was kind of the first time we were like working together. Like I've known him for a bit, but he ended up sending me a pack of a bunch of beats. And I just heard that beat and I was just like, damn, I just rapped. I just literally just recorded it. Like that's honestly how I work. Like it's very off the cuff. And that's why it's super important for me for like to have a home studio, because I'm my own engineer and I can record. I record by myself in a room. It's not like, I hear something and I'm planning it for weeks, writing it on a note paper, and I'm going to a studio. I got to do it now. It's just like, I hear it, I think about it. The song could be done in fucking 20 minutes sometimes. It's just it's how it works.
That's cool.
Just happens, right? Other songs, take me months because I need to think about it. But I'm at least recording ideas like right away when I have them. So like Crucial was definitely one of those, and that's why that song is so short also, where it was like just like a 1 hour thing where I was just having fun. Like that was like the moment where I was like, I'm gonna do Rap Dylan too. It's just about having fun. I was just talking reckless, and it has a cool bounce. It just feels good, man. It just sounded great. So that's the long answer too. No, I had no clue. And then when I sent it back to Rain, I was like, yo, I used this one. What do you think about it? He was like, bro, this shit's nuts. Like, you gotta go crazy. This is like a TikTok song. And I'm like, okay. So I went on TikTok and just did research, and I was like, yeah, this is a TikTok song. Like,
so you said you were a tour manager and you obviously traveled all over. Do you have like any like just like funny or crazy like kind of tour moments or like highlights, like favorite arena, that type of stuff?
Dude, there's so like touring at the level that I'm at, which is like not a huge level, is so challenging. Not only like just mentally, financially, physically, every bit is just so difficult. And that's like the funnest part of it to me, because like it's just so humbling. Like no matter what you're doing, like even when you have a great show waiting for you that night, to scale, it's still like you're fucking nobody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, I did a show in San Francisco with the Hold Up, and I was opening for him. So it was like one of those off days where I didn't bring my crew and shit, because it was just like a one-off, like, yo, I have a show in San Francisco. I want you to open. I can pay you this much. It's not a lot, but come through. I have a sold out show. Like for me, I want to basically put you on this and like help you, right?
Damn.
And that's funny. So I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do it. But it's like you don't make enough to like pay your band, pay your tour manager, pay your photographer if it's just one show. It's just like it doesn't make sense. Especially if I gotta fly there and then fly back. So it's just like, okay, the show's there, and some of those photos from that show are like the most epic photos that I've ever had. Because there was like 600 or 700 people like sold out in San Francisco.
Damn.
Like I had complete control of that crowd, and like some of them knew me because of the song that I had with Hold Up and like the tour that I did with him or whatever. And it was fucking dope, bro. Like we killed it on merch, taking photos, 100 people after. It's fucking sick, right? And then like right after that, you know, you get it done, you load out. I leave the venue and I'm in the streets of San Francisco by myself at like 1 a.m. No one gives a fuck after that. Like I'm just a random dude, and then I have to go sleep in like a $50 shitty hotel room that was so sketchy. Like I thought I was gonna fucking die. And like sleep for 45 minutes and wake up and catch my flight at 5 a.m. because that's the only one that was available, and that's just what it was. So it's like such a shitty like struggle, but then like for that 3 hours, it's like I'm fucking Superman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's such a interesting like paradox, and obviously not all shows are like that, and not every sleeping arrangement is like that. Like I've been hooked up with certain things, and it's great, and I have the whole band with me, and we're all, you know, creating memories, and those are like my brothers. Like my tour squad is great.
Yeah.
The musicians I bring are amazing, great people. Kirk, who does photo and video, amazing. He's like my brother. And Ryan Pod, he's my tour manager. The fucking man. Like I have the best group, you know. But it took a long time to like figure that out and like not necessarily weed certain people out, but it's like this is the dynamic that works. This is like what I can see myself building with in the future to like do this on a bigger scale, you know. But it's like, yeah, man, long drives, like waking up early, staying up super late, eating gas station food, like not showering, just the bullshit. It's so hard. Like it's not for everybody, you know. But it's the funnest thing ever, man. And I'll never take it for granted that I get the opportunity, and I like am doing well enough where like that's a thing. And it's like, I'm eating shit and I'm barely making money on tour, and it's like difficult, and like everyone's making sacrifices, but it's like the funnest. It's like there's nothing. I can't even describe it. Like it's the best, man. It's Dylan Reese. I just want to say thank you to Slept On Sounds for giving me the platform and having this conversation. I enjoyed it. Rap Dylan 2 is on the way. Out of Pocket, the third single is coming out on June 19th, and then the last single is going to be coming out on July 10th, and that's a collaboration with my boy Sammy Adams. And then the rest of the project will be after that. Ton of music the rest of the year, as always. Like I'm dropping shit all the time. If you know me, you know that already. So just stay tuned. I'm excited for the rest of the year. And once again, I appreciate it, man.
She said she tryna turn me to a different man, acting out of pocket, yeah. Whoa, wanna hit the follow button, we can talk every week like I'm Joe Budden. Hit my DM, let's go run it. I know them little boys do